Welcome to the MMA's virtual tour for high school students, Art from Everywhere. Since the beginning of recorded time, humans from all over the world created art to express their emotions, feelings, and ideas. And while the MMA's permanent collection is generally focused on American art from the early 1900s, it also contains a number of important pieces from around the world that tell stories from over the centuries, while others are connected with American art history. This virtual tour will examine some of those stories. As you watch the video tour, pay attention to the nationality of the artist and the subject matter of the work of art. You will find that art is, indeed, from everywhere. Have you heard of the famous Dutch painter Rembrandt? Rembrandt lived in the Netherlands in the 1600s. He was one of the leading artists of the Dutch Golden Age and created the masterpiece Night Watch. Rembrandt also painted many self-portraits during his lifetime. You might think that's a bit self-centered, but he had a very practical reason for doing so. These self-portraits allowed him to practice his artistic skills without having the expense of paying a model. Self-portraits also served as a form of advertising for his talent to prospective clients. The Muskegon Museum of Art has an etching of Rembrandt with his young wife, Saskia, in our collection. An etching is a printmaking technique that uses chemicals to produce lines in a metal printing plate to form an image. Sadly, Rembrandt's 8-year marriage ended in tragedy. Saskia died young, as did 3 of their 4 children. Although Rembrandt lived over 400 years ago, his style of painting still influences artists today. On loan to the Muskegon Museum of Art is a self-portrait created by the Norwegian painter Odd Nerdrum in 1996. The Nerdrum self-portrait is on the left. A Rembrandt self-portrait from the Metropolitan Museum of Art from 1660 is on the right. Although these artists are separated by centuries, what similarities do you see in their painting styles? The painting La Ferme was created by Danish-French painter Camille Pissarro and is a fan favorite at the Muskegon Museum of Art. Pissarro was born in the Danish West Indies and eventually moved to France. La Ferme, which means the farm, is an example of the Impressionist style that originated in France in the late 1800s. This style emphasized the shifting effect of light and color. Pissarro painted in the open air, which was made possible by the invention of paint tubes, which were more portable and stable compared to the old-fashioned powder mixed paints. At first glance, one might think the subject of the painting is simply a French farmhouse. However, the true subject is the sunlight and how it impacts the trees, grass, sky, and the building. To create this brilliant light, Pissarro used light colors and comma-like brushstrokes that created the illusion of sunlight on the objects. The Impressionist movement inspired artists all around the world, among them American artist Theodore Robinson. His painting, The Bridge near Givigny, was painted while he studied with the Impressionist masters in France, and now it hangs in our Cannon Gallery. Examine these 2 paintings side by side. How are they different? How are they the same? The final selection for our virtual tour is one of our newest acquisitions, Minotaur Reading by British sculptor Beth Carter. The piece was created in 2019 and is sculpted of bronze and features a gilded book. Much of Carter's art is inspired by mythical creatures such as the Minotaur, a part man, part bull creature that ancient Greeks believed lived underground on the island of Crete. Carter's Minotaur, however, is a softer, more vulnerable version of the one found in the Greek myth, as it also represents her father's strength and love of reading. Looking back over the virtual tour art selections, I would like for you to think about the following. What countries were represented in the tour, either by nationality of the artist or by the subject matter of the art? What continent do most of these countries have in common? What continents were not represented in our tour? Which of the featured works of art would you pick to display in your own home, and why? Which of the featured works of art would you pass on rather than own, and why? The goal of all art is to elicit an emotional response from the viewer, regardless if those feelings are good or bad. We hope this virtual tour accomplished that. Thank you for joining us.